Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." So let me ask you, are you failing, or are you learning how to succeed? Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed not once, but many times. What makes them different is that they didn't stop, they turned their failure into fuel. Let's dive into the 6 key lessons that turn failure from a roadblock into a ramp. Failure is often misunderstood. Many people treat it as the end, as if one setback means they're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. But in reality, failure is not final, it's feedback. It's a message, not a verdict. Think of failure like a teacher. It doesn't punish you, it teaches you. When something goes wrong, instead of saying "I failed, I'm done," you should be asking, "What can I learn from this?" Let's take an example from real life. When a baby is learning to walk, they fall dozens of times. But do they stop trying? No. They stand up again and again, adjusting their balance, finding new ways, learning from each fall. If a baby treated failure as final, no one would ever learn to walk. The problem is, as we grow older, we start fearing failure. We think it means we're not good enough. But the truth is, failure is proof that you're trying, and each failure gives you important information about what didn't work so you can improve what will. Great inventors, athletes, and leaders have all used failure as fuel. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said, "I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of someone who sees failure as feedback. Failure also builds mental strength. Every time you fail and keep going, you're developing resilience. You're teaching yourself how to adapt, how to bounce back, how to stay motivated. That's more valuable than never failing at all. So next time you face failure, whether it's a bad grade, a lost opportunity, or a rejected idea, don't take it as the end of your story. Take it as a clue. What did you miss? What could you change? How can you grow? The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never failed. They're the ones who learned from every failure and kept moving forward. Remember, failure is not final unless you quit. But if you learn, adapt, and try again, failure becomes your greatest teacher. Failure is not just a test, it's a training ground. When life knocks you down and you choose to stand back up, you're doing more than just recovering. You're building resilience, that inner strength that keeps you going when things get hard. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop through challenges, disappointments, and yes, through failure. Every time you face failure, you're given a choice, either break down or bounce back. And with each bounce back, you become stronger, tougher, and wiser. Think of resilience like a muscle. You don't build muscles by sitting on the couch, you build them by pushing through resistance. In the same way, your mind and spirit grow stronger when you push through failure. Each setback becomes a weight that shapes your strength. Let's take the example of a successful athlete. Behind every gold medal are years of missed shots, lost matches, and painful defeats. But it's those failures that trained the athlete, not just physically, but mentally. They learned to deal with pressure, disappointment, and self-doubt. That's resilience, and it's built, not born. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel the pain of failure. It means you don't let the pain stop you. It means you allow failure to teach you, not define you. In real life, people who bounce back from failure are the ones who grow faster. Why? Because they develop the courage to try again, even after falling. They stop fearing failure and start embracing it as part of the process. The truth is, without failure, resilience would not exist. If everything came easy, we would never learn how to overcome, how to adapt, or how to fight for what we truly want. So the next time you fail, instead of feeling defeated, remind yourself, this is my chance to build resilience, to become stronger than I was yesterday. Because success isn't built by those who never fall, it's built by those who fall 100 times and rise 101. Failure is not the end, it's the beginning of your inner strength. Embrace it, and let it shape the version of you that doesn't give up. Success feels great. It boosts our confidence, validates our efforts, and motivates us to keep going. But if we're not careful, success can also feed our ego. It can make us believe we are invincible, that we always make the right choices, or worse, that we are better than others. That's where failure plays a powerful role. It keeps us humble. When we fail, we are reminded that we are human, imperfect, learning, evolving. Failure shatters the illusion of perfection and brings us back to reality. It shows us that no matter how skilled or experienced we are, there is always room to grow. Humility is not weakness. It is one of the strongest qualities a person can have, and nothing teaches humility better than failure. When you fall, you start to see things from a different perspective. You understand what it feels like to struggle. You become more empathetic toward others who are also trying, failing, and growing. In fact, some of the most respected leaders and successful people in the world are also the most humble because they've failed. Their failures taught them that success is never guaranteed, and that arrogance can destroy everything you build. Failure teaches you to stay grounded, to keep learning, and to never underestimate the value of others. Let's take an example. Imagine someone who wins easily in everything they do. Over time, they may start to believe they can't lose, and when failure finally hits, it crushes them. Why? Because they never developed humility. On the other hand, someone who has failed, learned, and grown from it becomes emotionally stronger and more balanced. Humility also opens the door to improvement. When you're humble, you're willing to listen, take advice, and accept criticism. But when you're full of pride, you close yourself off from growth. So when you fail, don't see it as shame. See it as a moment that reminds you to stay humble, stay hungry, and stay human. Because success might make you shine, but failure makes you real. And in this world, being real, grounded, and humble is more powerful than any short-lived victory. Failure doesn't destroy your worth, it reveals your depth, and it humbles you just enough to rise again, stronger and wiser than before. Innovation doesn't come from perfection, it comes from problems. And often, the biggest breakthroughs happen after something goes wrong. That's why we say failure fuels innovation. When something fails, it forces you to ask new questions.